Hello, everybody, and we're waiting for some people to get on the Zoom call. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I am so happy that all of you are here. We just got, and a lot of you on this call today have just went through a 21-day challenge with us where we learned about ketogenic diet and we learned about intermittent fasting and we learned how to do it the right way. We learned some pitfalls. Hi, Lily. Is that Lily? Yep. Your friends came in today. Thank you so much. They came in on the special Valentine's Day thing that we're doing, which any of you guys can invite your friends in for exam and x-rays.
Oh, that's Shelly's sister.
My
Shelley's
sister and brother-in-law.
That's your sister, Shelly?
Yeah, my sister and brother-in-law.
Oh, fantastic. Well, they are very nice.
Good, good.
And so you're, well, I know your history. I won't say anything on the phone, but we'll see how, but she goes to chiropractors, so that's pretty cool. Unlike some people I know.
Well, Duncan, though, my dad, was an ER doctor, but he's not anti-chiropractor.
Okay.
He was never a pill pusher either.
Good, yeah.
My dad, he's 90. He'll be 94 or 93, 93 in
And
March.
he still works every day.
He still works, and my mom is 90, so
She still works every day. So.
Do you know how unusual it is for medical doctors to live that long?
Well, my dad was not like, my uncle was an MD also. My mom and her sisters were both married to doctors, but they passed away 20 years ago. My uncle was a pill pusher.
Yeah.
And my dad and my mom were just anti that. So
isn't that interesting? And that's kind of the whole thing. It's a great way to start this talk tonight because what we're really trying to do is help people take their health back and get their life back. And so, in this, I don't know how many, you guys listen to my radio show this weekend, and I really kind of put my whole story out there on the line about, where I was and how addicted I was to drugs because of low back pain and alcohol and street drugs. And I almost died from it. And I came that close. In that room right over there, like less than 30 feet away, I made the decision, that I decided I had to change my life because I had gone down kind of the medical road because I had, broken my back, I'd had dyslexia, and nothing got me out of pain until once I found a solution, I knew that not only did I need to pursue it, but I needed to do that and teach other people. So you're all here. Thank you. I'm going to give you everything I got. And so we just got off a 21-day challenge last week, and we are bringing everybody back so we can do a 3 to 5 day water fast or bone broth fast. Now, a lot of the veterans are probably going to just go for a 5-day water fast. Some of you people that are just getting used to this might decide to do a 3-day bone broth fast, and I'm going to talk about the difference and why you would do one versus the other. A lot of times what happens is you get into day 3 and you go, I feel great. I'm just going to keep going. And if that's what happens, keep going. I wouldn't go past 5 because we know there's diminishing returns on it. And our whole goal is to help our body get healthy, not to prove that we can do something. And I'll show the slide again in a little bit about what happens about day 3 of a water fast and how it starts to diminish the autophagy, which is your body breaking down the bad cells, and stem cell production. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. We have a lot of people on the Zoom call, and then we're doing this on Facebook again. We will be doing the 21-day challenge in mid-March. So a lot of the people that are veterans may want to move on to one of the other challenges I'm doing. We'll be doing some different type of diets, like we'll go into the carnivore diet, which is going to help us build muscle and build more organs, and that's going to be a whole different game. So we'll be going on to that in the academy, but we will do this again for anybody anybody that's listening. If you've had some wins, then you go, okay, you got to do this. I mean, I've heard people losing 7, 8, 9 pounds. Some people in 21 days only lost 3 or 4 pounds, but they have their energies back. In fact, I had one patient ask me today, she goes, you know, I didn't lose a lot of weight, but I have more energy. Could have fasting help my energy? And I said, well, let me ask you a question. If 60% of your energy goes to digesting food, and now you're only digesting food half the time, do you think you'd have leftover energy? And she had a little hard time understanding that. So I said, look, if you had $100 to spend, and every day $60 went to, you know, handling your digestive system, how much would you have left to heal your body and live life? $40. So what if you stopped eating all day long and we healed your digestive system? And since 60% of your energy goes to digesting food, you only were using 30% of that $100 or $30 to digest food. How much more would go to, how much more would you have? 70%. So of course you'd have more energy. You'd have a better immune system. All those things would be great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and get into our slideshow for tonight. And I'm going to, let's see, slideshow. I got to move all this stuff over here. Play from current slide. Okay, so 3-day fast. You can do it. This is so exciting. I'm really happy for everybody that you're on. For those of you that are just watching on Facebook, sorry you can't see the slides, but they will be up on my YouTube channel tomorrow, and that's Dr. Duncan McCollum YouTube. And even the 21-day challenge is up there. So you can find out what I'm talking about. There's several great videos on understanding how your body can actually get rid of toxins and increase your lifespan. It's basically bringing back your longevity. And I'm going to go into that in a minute. So, see if I can get this to change. So we're doing a 3-day bone broth or water fast. Now, if you want to do a water fast, basically water means water. There's nothing else, water and salt, okay? And those of you that want to do a water fast versus those of you that aren't quite ready and you want to do a bone broth fast, the difference between that is your body already is in ketosis. Your body knows how to burn your own fat. It knows how to burn your own bad cells. It knows how to burn the unfriendly microbiome or bacteria in your digestive system. So those are the things that would say, hey, I've been doing 24-hour fasts. I'm ready to do a water fast, and go for it. However, you can always decide to stop anytime, or you can decide to do a 5-day fast if you so choose. And again, if you have any medical conditions, always just check with your medical doctor to see what he thinks about this, because we don't want you doing anything that's going to possibly damage your body. Our whole goal is to help you be healthier. Now, when you do a water fast, you don't have your coffee in the morning, no oils throughout the day. All you do is have salts. And I'm actually going to take a moment to talk about salts. We really promote the Himalayan sea salt with your fasting. The 2222 rule, which you can find out about on the 24-hour fast on Dr. Duncan McCollum YouTube, you find out about that. We talk about Himalayan sea salt. I have a friend, he's a very scientific scientist, whatever that means. And we were at a seminar with him, and I went out to lunch with him. And this guy is very dry humor. And he pulled out this leather pouch that he unfolded, and there were 3 test tubes in there. And he pulled out black lava salt. He also had Aleian sea salt. And he also had some hickory smoked salt. So he was to a point with his fasting that he decided, well, I think I'll have some Aleian salt. It's like a connoisseur of salt, for crying out loud. But I thought, you know, since when you're doing a fast, sometimes you're getting hungry, and all you do is you lick your finger, put that much salt on your finger, put it on your tongue, and that's going to stop your hunger. It's going to satiate it. So that little bit will help you get through the fast, whether it's a bone broth fast or a water fast. Also, you can drink hot water like you're drinking hot tea. If you're doing a water fast, just hot water will get you through that. If you're doing a bone broth fast, you know, you can drink bone broth all day, really, because what bone broth does, there's amino acids in bone broth that actually heal your digestive system. It heals the lining of your gut. And I didn't bring that slide up today, I should have, but it makes sure that the leaky gut syndrome is decreased because the things that are in your bone broth actually soothe and heal the lining of your whole digestive system from your mouth to the other end. And that's what we want to do, because remember, hi Tammy, when you're doing a bone broth fast or any kind of fast, 60% of your energy goes to digest food. So when you're not eating, all that energy gets to go to heal your gut. You know, Western medicine says if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, eat 6 meals a day. Well, what you're doing is you're continuing to cause your digestive system, it's like rubbing a wound with dirt. You keep rubbing that wound with dirt, it will never heal. So we want you to quit rubbing the walls of your digestive system with food, oftentimes irritable food. A lot of times it's got GMO in it. Oftentimes it's got additives and things that are unhealthy to your body. So that's why we're doing a fast, because we're giving your body a break. So those are the different type of fasting now that we're doing, either the 3-day water fast or bone broth fast. And now in the bone broth, you can have your coffee. Natalie and I just made a really good bone broth. We used, well, today we used the turkey broth, but yesterday we used the chicken broth. Chicken broth has a lot more collagen in it. Natalie's going back to LA, so she decided to do the fast today. She's on day 2 or 3. She's finishing day 2. She's been 2.5 days with no food, which she's never done before. So that's pretty cool. And so those are a couple of the bone broths that you can get. This is called Butcher's Bone Broth. If you decide to do a bone broth fast, you can get it at any of our local health food stores. There's also Kettle and Fire bone broth. There's also Kitchen Witch bone broth that I did not buy, but maybe Natalie can put those in the chat. And so if you're doing a bone broth fast, you know, you wake up, you can have your coffee and your oil. Some of you might be afraid of headaches and stuff, so that's a good thing to do. And then throughout the day, you can have more bone broth throughout the day. And you can do that for 3 days. Some of you are going to come up with some issues. Here, did you get the other one? Yeah, some of you are going to come up with some, I've had several people come up with rashes, even on a 24-hour fast. Rash usually means mold or candida or yeast backed by heavy metals. So if you're getting any rashes during a fast, then you probably have heavy metals that are above that toxic level, that are stored in your brain and your tissue, that are trying to come out. And with them, since mold hangs out with heavy metals, the mold comes out and it's circulating through your body. It's trying to get out, so it goes to your skin and causes rashes. So pay attention, whether you're doing a water fast or a bone broth fast, pay attention to what you see happening in your body, because this is going to help us understand what to do next. I've had a couple patients have sore right here underneath their rib cage. That's where your gallbladder is. So since we're having a lot of oil, since your gallbladder's prime goal, it's like a water balloon that your liver cleanses your blood and dumps all the toxins into a tube that goes to a water balloon called the gallbladder. And it has bile in it. There's something, bile salts. Every time you eat fat, that gallbladder squirts all that bile salts into your large intestine to break the fat down into something called fatty acids, which we need. So your gallbladder and a storage of bile is good. A lot of people have it taken out, unfortunately, too soon when you could actually save it. But if you've been having trouble digesting food, or you're having a pain underneath your rib on the right side, your gallbladder is probably complaining. You need to either take bile salts, which we have at the office, or you can get, I believe it, you can get on mccollum.revelationhealth.shop. Natalie will put that in there. And you can get LB, which is from Systemic Formulas, L as liver, B, bile salts. And take that with every meal, and that will help you digest your food. So digest the oils and break them down. It's, again, I talked about when Johnny has grease on his elbow shirt and nothing gets it out until mom puts in this special detergent that's sort of like Pac-Man that break the oil down. That's what bile salts do. And we need to have those bile salts because we need to have the little teeny fatty acids, because they go to your brain. Your brain's made out of fat. Your cell walls are made out of fat. Your neurotransmitters are made of fat. Your hormones are made of fat. So a low-fat diet is not good. Your body doesn't have enough fat to make these fatty acids to turn into all these hormones and things you need to stay healthy. So that's why when the medical doctors are telling you get your cholesterol down below 190, it's actually, in my opinion, not a healthy thing. You know, it used to be 250, and then Lipitor came out, 225, 200, 190. Wow, you mean the more people it's almost kind of weird that the more Lipitor you take, the lower it goes. But the more Alzheimer's we've had, the more chronic inflammation and chronic disease we have, because we're lowering the oils that we need in our body. So, okay, that was slide 1. Holy moly. So remember, when you go into autophagy means cleanse thyself or eat thyself. Autophagy, you can see these little guys, and for those of you that are on Facebook, I apologize. You can see this on Dr. Duncan McCollum YouTube tomorrow. It will be up there. 3-day fast is probably what it will be named. But autophagy means your body's eating its own cells, own bad cells. And they are basically the weak and dying cells that should be dead anyway. They call them senescent cells or senile cells. They've already done their life cycle. They usually will die off and break down so the body can reconstitute all those parts. But because of the disruption of our nervous system, our hormone system, the heavy metals, the toxic load, we have more toxins in our environment ever in human history today. And it's affecting our health dramatically. And if you don't know how to get rid of them, you are going to go down that path of toxicity. And based on your genetic imprint, you're going to get these bad diseases or not. George Burns drank, every day, smoked cigars every day, lived to be 104, and told jokes the whole time. And he had a great life. Other people passing away at 40, 50, 60. It used to be that the average age of somebody getting colon cancer, especially men, was 50. Now it's 30. So in their 30s, men are getting colon cancer. Why? More toxins in the environment, more stress. So when we go into a fast, we're turning on autophagy, and autophagy means self-eating. It's eating and breaking down the cells that you should never have there anymore. It also goes and breaks down the mutated cells or the cancer cells. It also breaks down your old decrepit immune system and allows new white blood cells to be produced, which are actually very healthy and very helpful. So as we're doing the 3-day water fast or bone broth fast, even in the bone broth fast, you're getting autophagy going. Okay, so this is what stem cells look like. They're young cells. They keep separating and separating and separating. It's kind of like shark teeth, one dies and another one pops out. And that's what we want to do by creating a massive amount of autophagy. We're creating a huge amount of new growth of new stem cells to go in and fill the void. So as we break down bad organ cells and bad immune cells and bad microbiome and bad heart cells and lung cells and brain cells and finger cells from autophagy, then your body starts producing these new young, healthy cells, and that's really what we want to see happen. And that's what happens on the 3-day fast. Because you guys remember this chart, and so on day 1, what happens is your consumption of sugar goes down, so your glucose level goes down. Day 1, your autophagy, since you're not giving it immediate fuel, your body's looking, where can I get stored fat? Where can I get stored fuel? Just like when a bear goes into hibernation, your body's going to start eating any stored fuel. So fat is stored fuel. So autophagy goes up, stem cell production goes up, and then there's 2 types of stem cells. One is an intestinal stem cell, what's a muscular stem cell. They both start going up, autophagy going up, and then on day 3, autophagy, your body breaking down its own cells, goes down, but stem cells keep being produced, filling in the void of all of those bad cells that autophagy ate up. So that's pretty cool. So that's what we're trying to have happen. I got to move this again. So you're on the right track. Now in the 21-day challenge, again, we'll be doing that again in March. We learned about intermittent fasting. We learned how to do the 5-1-1 or the 4-2-1 rule. We figured out about the ketogenic diet, how your body's burning your own fat. We talked about diet variation, feast days and famine days, and then later on in the academy, we'll be going into the carnivore diet and a varied Mediterranean diet minus the carbs, the bad carbs. Ancient healing strategies, when to eat what time of year should you eat certain types of foods so that we can actually turn back the biological clock. And remember, one of the main reasons we're doing this is a human cell, and the top is a healthy cell. All those little gates right here are open. So we're showing a cell with everything moving smoothly. Insulin gets to the cell wall, puts in sugar, no diabetes, the cells are working great. The lower half, which those of you that can't see it, are smoky, foggy, polluted cell walls where nothing can get through easily. It's like driving a pile driver through the gates of an old medieval castle trying to get in the door. For insulin to try to open the door to get sugar in that cell is almost impossible. So then, obviously, I've been watching the Vikings. So, eventually your body can't produce any more. It has no more soldiers or insulin to open up that cell wall to get the sugar in there. So your doctor gives you insulin. And then that insulin finally pushes through to get the sugar in the cell. But at what damage is it causing? It's causing much more insulin in the bloodstream. We know that diabetes type 3 is insulin on the brain. So Alzheimer's is another name for diabetes type 3. So the Western medicine is taking us to a point where we're trying to shove, forget about the toxicity in the body, just get more big power pile drivers to push things like hormones in the cell, and it's causing our brain to die. It's causing our brain to forget everything. So that's not a good thing. So remember, hormones, which in the brain, that we have the endocrine system, the hypothalamus, which is the master gland, and then the pituitary gland. The nervous system tells these things what's going on in the environment. They produce hormones. Again, I think the great analogy my friend Mindy Pels talked about is the hypothalamus is like the owner of the football team. The pituitary is like the coach. And then you have the all these hormones, all these glands, like the thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, adrenal glands, pancreas, gonads, and whatever they are. They're like the team players. So if the owner of the team tells the manager to win the game, and there's one guy on the team who keeps dropping the ball, like your thyroid gland, what do you do with the thyroid gland? You go, it's okay, we'll just help you along. We're going to go ahead and give you a little bit more thyroid hormone. But the problem is that the gland is toxic, and it's never going to get well. You can go down that road, or you can try to clean up the communication system, because this is the hormone system. Hey, Ron. Dr. Ron, good to see you on here. Try to get this to change. Why isn't it changing? There we go. So the endocrine system, brain, thyroid, parathyroid. Parathyroid helps get calcium in the bone. When you have osteoporosis, which a lot of people in older age will, that's a lot of times a problem with your parathyroid hormone. And that means that, you know, they can give you a drug for it, and or we can correct that. And then you have the big gland right here called the thymus gland, you know, that Tarzan always hit like that. And that is the gland that is your immune gland. So then below that, we have the pancreas. It makes digestive enzymes and insulin. And when your pancreas can't work anymore, you've got to add some more to pound the stuff in those cells. And then below that, we have the adrenal glands, which are like little almond-shaped glands on top of the kidneys, which kidneys are called renal, adrenal. So adrenal means on top of the kidneys. Then down below, we have the gonads, which nobody wants to talk about. But they're there, and they all have to do with function from the brain. I'll talk about it. So now here's the real concept of trying to fast and what we're trying to do. On my left-hand side, and a lot of you can't see it, but there's a glass that's half full of toxins. We're born that way. 4 generations of heavy metals, mercury, lead, other things, and 278 known chemicals and toxins come through mom's umbilical blood. So when we're born, we're already toxic. Now, the second glass is one that's almost full, and the third glass is spilling over. So if we come into this life, like, you know, my sister would come into this life with her glass already pretty full. Mine's pretty empty, just luck of the draw. But when we get our own different toxins in this lifetime, whether it's heavy metals from industry, foods we've eaten, and once that glass fills up and spills over, then we become genetically susceptible to disease. Your fat cells hold toxins. The body puts the toxins in the fat cells so that you aren't exposed to them, because fat is not soluble in water. So as we're starting to burn these fat cells, as we're getting into autophagy, as we're starting to do intermittent fasting, and now we're going to embrace a 3-day fast, there's a chance that some of these toxins are going to come out a little quicker than we want them to. Pay attention to that. If you start to get rashes, if you start to get headaches, if you start to have bloating or nausea, we're doing this during the week. Contact the office or email us at info@McCollum Wellness, and we'll help you through it. Much better to get this stuff out of your body than leave it in your body, because in your body it's going to turn on bad genes, which are going to cause chronic genetic diseases. And we can help you turn those off if we catch it in time, and if you're willing to do the work, because it's a little bit of work. So, and that work means quit looking like the left side of the picture, which is a big body filled with pizza, beer, cake. And then on the right side, it's a lean body, which is, like a car firing on all cylinders. The one on the left side could be an old jalopy with steam coming out from under the hood. The shock absorbers are gone. The wheels are rattling like this. Suspension's gone. Blue smoke blowing out of the back. That's the way a lot of people are going through this life. Almost 50% of our population are operating the way I just described. If 50% of the cars on the road were like that, the EPA would be all over us to make sure that we weren't polluting the environment. Well, 47% we're rated 47th in the world for health. So a lot of cars, a lot of bodies aren't running like a clean, well-running Porsche. They're running like that jalopy. 50% of us are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's that pile driver trying to push insulin onto the cell wall to get sugar into the cell. You can do that, or you can clean up the cell. What makes more sense to me? So we're doing it the smart way. Remember, symptoms occur to let you know something's wrong. Chronic inflammation's all over the news. It has been for about 10 to 15 years. We've known that chronic inflammation causes chronic disease. And we know the source of chronic inflammation. There's one source, and it's toxicity. It's the only source there is. Toxins cause chronic disease. chronic disease and chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation causes chronic disease. Okay, so we're going to go into a fast and how to break the fast. So doing a fast, now if you start tomorrow and you're going to do a bone broth fast, have your coffee in the morning, get some of this stuff here, this bone broth, the ones that I recommended, and then, 12 o'clock, you can make, like a bone broth, that whether you're at work or at home, or you make it in the morning and take it with you. I was talking to my daughter about it, and she's going, "Oh, bone broth, gross," right? Well, I made it, and was it bad? She's going, "No, it wasn't bad." No, it wasn't bad because I like to cook. Some of you have seen my recipes. So some of the things I put in, garlic salt. Why can't you put garlic salt in your bone broths? It's not going to change anything. You can actually put garlic in if you want. My secret ingredient, chili powder. I use this on almost all my recipes, just a pinch. It adds some great stuff. And then salt, right? Salt, you can salt to taste. But now you know that you've got black lava salt. Pretty cool, right? You could put in Alea salt, sea salt. This stuff is called hickory smoking salt. Be careful, it's pretty powerful. And any other kind of salt. So, and then we put in some oregano. You can put in any spices you want. Spices are not going to change the bone broth effect. So that's good. Now, so you drink that maybe, huh? Butter. Oh yeah, you can put in big globs of butter and coconut oil as well, because we want our body to, during the bone broth fast, we want a lot of oils, healthy butter, coconut oil, to get in and help our amino acids or help the fatty acids heal the cell walls, heal the digestive walls, heal the brain. So when you're fasting, the brain, everything's looking for something. It's going to digest the bottom of the barrel of everything. It's going to look for the bad gut microbiome in your digestive system, bad weak cells. 1 5-day water fast a year is going to decrease your cancer risk by 95%, according by Dr. Thomas Siegfried. So a couple things. This is, the coconut oil. I use a couple different ones, but this is a good one. You can get it at any of the health food stores. It's called Nutiva. And also ghee. Now, it's really hard to get a big bottle of ghee here. I got this at a place in LA, but ghee is clarified butter, organic. And now these are the two best oils to cook really hot foods in, because they don't go rancid when you're cooking them at high temperatures. You should not use olive oil at a high temperature, because you're going to break down the oil, and then it's not going to be healthy for your body. So use ghee or coconut oil, and I think avocado oil at a high temperature. And I'm showing you all this because we're starting to talk about breaking the fast, and I'll go into the water fast in a minute. Here's another coconut oil, organic, that you can get at the health food store. Now, anytime you get olive oil, it has to say California on it, because if it doesn't say California on it, it's not pure olive oil. It's cut with other oils. It only has to be 51% or something to be called olive oil, just like Merlot has to be 51% Merlot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go through breaking your fast. Let me talk about the water fast first. So the bone broth fast, again, you can do that for 3 days. You can have the bone broth along the way. You can, even if you're hungry, you can take a teaspoon of coconut oil anytime you want, and it's not going to break your fast. Always know, and I'll do the hickory. You can, if you're hungry and you just can't stand it, that much salt on your finger is going to tell your brain that you've eaten, and it's going to take those hunger pangs away. Along warm water or hot water is a really good trick. So now I have a couple slides. This shows some of the things that I use to break fasts, and this will be up online. But when you're breaking your fast, a good idea is, this is called BioK. It's a real great, it's a live culture of microbiome. We've just challenged the microbiome in our gut. A lot of the bad ones have died off, so now we want to feed the culture. There's a couple different, this is a cured coconut yogurt. Now, my favorite though right now is this one. It's called non-dairy super probiotic coconut yogurt. And I can only find this at Aptos Natural. Maybe they have it at Staff. It's like 25 bucks for this. So it's expensive, but it's really thick and it's really good. And if you're only doing it now and then, it's worth it. I love it with blackberries and blueberries when I'm breaking a fast, or just in general. Blackberries and blueberries are good for your brain. So that's one of my evening treats. This is Kerrygold butter. It's a really good butter to use, by the way. Can put off a chunk, put it in the bottom of your cup when you're putting your bone broth in there. Okay, so now we are on day 3. We're ready to break our fast. A lot of fermented food is good. You can use soups, any kind of soups without noodles in it. I wouldn't necessarily have chicken soup yet. I would have vegetable soup. If you buy canned soup, it's going to be loaded with sugar no matter what. They put sugar in there. I'm going to show you a couple of the fermented foods that I like. This is called Wild West. This is a fermented carrot. And so it's, when they ferment it, it's got its own bacterial culture in there. It's going to recultivate the microbiome in your gut. Here's another one called Moroccan beets. Now, beets are a little high in sugar content, but when you ferment it, all of that sugar gets used, gets broken down. And so that's a good one. They also have these farmhouse cultured sauerkrauts. You can use these. Now, I recommend that you, when you're breaking the fast, that you use sauerkraut. Every day, a tablespoon of sauerkraut would be good, because it's alive. Now, you can't get the canned stuff on the shelf, the stuff that's not in the refrigerator. It has to be refrigerated or it's dead. You know, you don't want to buy dead stuff. There's another one, raw sauerkraut. I bought a lot because, you know, my daughter's taking some home with her. Also, you can get olives. These olives have garlic in them. Garlic is antimicrobial, antiviral. So you're thinking of, what can I put in my mouth that's going to help my digestive system heal from not eating, because you don't want to shock your system and put in, you know, a lot of hard to digest foods. This stuff is great. Kombucha, a couple different types of kombucha. Get one that, you know, sounds good to you. You can drink this stuff. You don't want to drink this every day, the same stuff every day, because we get what's called a monoculture. One mistake people make is they get the same probiotic, and they take the same probiotic every month for years, and you get what's called a very narrow line of probiotics. It's called a monoculture because it's the same one. There's about 130 plus microbiome wide. So you want to go from one brand to the next to the next. If you buy food at place like a farmer's market, buy from different farmers, because the microbiome that comes from one plot of land is different from the microbiome that comes from another plot of land. So you want to make sure to rotate where you buy these foods. That way you're getting a really broad culture. And that's part of what ancient healing strategies is you can't go to the same plot of land. You're getting food in different places, and you're challenging your body to work through all these different foods. Hummus is good, you know, garbanzo beans, and I like, there's several different types you can get organic and sprouted, and you know, you can get any different types of things in there. Of course, dill pickles are good. And here's another Happy Girl Kitchen. This is a red cabbage sauerkraut. So I hope that helps. And then you want to do that for about 2 days. You want to be eating healthy foods. If you want to do soft boiled eggs, that might be a good idea. I don't know if I'd fry eggs the next day. Fried eggs are a little harder to digest. But those are some of the things you can do. And then you can actually get yourself a treat. Lily's chocolate. And even if you're doing a bone broth fast, it won't hurt you to have a little bit of Lily's chocolate because there's no sugar in it. And, you know, I just have a bite or two and I'm done. I'll have a couple pieces with some nuts, and that's a dessert for me. If right at the end of the dinner, if I have a sweet tooth, I'll do this. So I hope that helps. These two cookbooks are amazing. The Funky Kitchen by my friend Sarika. I can't remember how to say her last name, but you can see it there, Sarah Noas. It's called The Funky Kitchen. And she did a radio show with me. I'll probably have her back soon. And she's amazing. And there's tons of ways for you to ferment your own food there. So, you know, it's always better to do it yourself if you have time. You know, sometimes you do or sometimes you don't. And then Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon. I've had that book for 40 years. She really does, you know, she's amazing on what she has taught in her book, and it still stands. She talks about what her grandma told her. Do we have questions?
Yes. Okay, so a couple questions. First one is, I'm doing a bone broth fast. It's my first one. How many cups of bone broth should I drink a day?
Okay.
I'm adding ghee and salt.
Adding what and salt? Ghee and salt?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many cups of bone broth a day? Well, you can do the you know, 2 meals a day if you want. You can have the coffee in the morning and then some at lunch and some at dinner, or you can do just some at dinner. You can stretch it out a little bit. The main thing about a fast, and it's more so with the water fast, is you're trying to dig really deep and have your body dig really far for that one vitamin that it's trying to reach down at the bottom of the well. So we're trying to get the body to stretch itself. The body's going to find everything it needs in your body. It's going to break down those old weak cells to get a vitamin K out of there because there's none anywhere else. And it's going to go, oh, I don't need that cell anyway. Let's recycle that cell. So that's what autophagy is all about. That's what fasting is all about. You're going to get more of that on a water fast. You don't take any vitamins on a water fast because you want your body to go find the vitamins. You've got all the vitamins and minerals in your body you need. They're just hiding out in worthless cells. So it's time to get rid of those cells, kick them out, break them down, recycle them, and come out with a healthier body. Now, the bone broth fast serves a little bit of different purpose than the water fast because the bone broth fast, we're doing more healing still. We're healing the inside. We're getting the organs healthier. We're giving them a break. We're letting the organs get rid of some bad stuff that are stuck in them. After you do a bone broth fast or two, maybe later on, when, you know, if you want to come with us, we'll do a 3-day water fast and then a 5-day water fast, and maybe even some dry fasting. And there's some new material coming out that we're studying in Dr. Pompa's group. We'll be in Cancun with them in April, which will be really fun with our whole group, doing some stem cell research and really talking about some of the newer things coming out so that we can come back and let you know. So if we come back, it means it worked. If it doesn't, I won't recommend it. I promise you that.
Good. Next question is, what about a homemade veggie broth instead of bone?
Well, veggie broth has got sugar in it. Remember that one of the reasons we're trying to do a bone broth fast is we want our body to get off of burning glucose, and all vegetables burn as glucose. So if you stuff it full of vegetables, if that's a gradient that you need to use, I mean, if that's what's comfortable for you, do it. You got the rest of your life to get healthy. But realize when you're putting carrots are full of sugar. Or celery's not so bad. Onions have a lot of sugar in them. Garlic doesn't. But so do the bone broth fast without that stuff in it. If you need to make it taste better, put in the things I told you: the garlic, salt, the spice, and the sugar. Or no, it's not sugar. Not the sugar. Ghee and butter and things like that. But you know, a bone broth fast with vegetables in it is a vegetable soup. That'd be a great way to break your fast. Do bone broth with veggies in it and all that kind of stuff. But it's different than the bone broth fast.
Cool. I had my keto coffee in the morning. Should I only drink 1 keto coffee a day during a bone broth fast?
No, you can have more. If you need to have it, have more. This is a gradient approach. Again, you're training your body, because when you do your keto coffee, you're giving it more oils, and we're trying to train your body to get into ketosis. So don't deprive it of ketones when we're trying to get it into ketosis, because it will go, if there's no ketones available, and you're not into and your body's not into, is not burning ketones, it's going to burn muscle and organs. So that's why if you're doing a bone broth fast, you want to make sure, a water fast, you want to make sure you're in ketosis. If you try to do a water fast and you're not in ketosis, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You're going to burn muscle. You're going to, it's just not going to feel good. So that's why we're doing this a bit at a time, and it's a learning curve. So that's why, you want to learn about what we're doing here, move into the academy. If you want to learn more, it makes sense.
I'll also say too that if you don't want to have that much coffee, you can switch it out with tea. I did a English Earl Grey latte with heavy whipping cream, just a little bit of heavy whipping cream and MCT oil, and it was a really great way to get the oils and curb some hunger.
And I'll just say this before I forget. The next 2 days, if you have any questions, be sure to put them in. Actually, info@McCollum Wellness will be best. And then I'll answer them, because I'm going to be doing Zoom or Facebook Live meetings just to kind of help you guys along. They'll probably be in the afternoon before 7, because I have things I'm doing at 7 the next couple of days. And then on Thursday, we'll do an end off and talk about where to go from here.
Cool. Another question is it okay to be active while fasting and work?
Great question. So when you are in a fast, you don't want to work out really hard. You want to, especially a 5-day water fast, it's like time to give your body a break it's like readjusting and resettling. You can still do some exercising, but not exercising too hard. And bone broth fast, either way, it's just mild, back off on the exercise a bit during this time. Because if you're stressing your body too much, it's going to burn muscle, which is exactly what you don't want it to do.
What about taking medications during the fast?
Well, if a medical doctor has prescribed you medications, I can't tell you what to do about that. But if you should probably stay on them without talking to your doctor about it. It depends on what it is you're taking. If you're on hydrocodone for pain, you need to take that when you're in pain. That's different than, something for high blood pressure or insulin or heart disease or what have you. I mean, there's so many different drugs out there. But I'll tell you one thing, if you continue on in this program, you'll probably get off a lot of them, if not all of them, depending on how far gone your body is. It won't happen immediately. But that's where you want to get in, maybe coach with me. Definitely, we're going to talk with your medical doctor about it, or have you talk to them. And, because we know the road that those drugs take us. They're not getting you healthy. They're plugging a hole, but they're not fixing anything. So yeah, this is a great thing to put into info@McCollum Wellness. And it might be a really good reason for you to have a consultation with me. You can go on there and fill out the neurotoxic questionnaire on McCollum Wellness, www.McCollum Wellness, and send it in, and I'll give you a free 15-minute consultation on it at any time. And then we'll find out if there's anything else I can do to help you.
I'll put the neurotoxic questionnaire in the chat. And then we have a lot of questions about having tea and coffee on the water fast, which you talked about.
Yeah, no water, no tea on a water fast. Water means water. Anything that is not spelled W-A-T-E-R, you do not eat. Except for salt on your tongue, a little bit in hot water. And then if you have to break it, break it. That's just the way it is with those things. If you're not ready, you're not ready. One reason you'll break it is your body's not keto adapted yet. So your body is not getting into there. Symptoms would be headaches, nausea, just cramps, muscle cramps in your legs. If muscle cramps in your legs may happen, that means you need more minerals. So then at that point you can take minerals, but the sea salts usually have all the minerals in. You guys remember the 2-2-2-2 rule? The last 2 was 2 teaspoons of salts a day. This is why you need them. So you can take salt as needed on the water fast, but again, you want your body to dig deep and find it in your body. That's how you can get a mean, clean operating machine.
It looks like that's all the questions.
That's the questions. Okay. So as a lot of you know, my book, New Hope, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, came out last Thursday on Amazon. the 11th, we sold over 500 copies, which is amazing. We got bestseller in 2 different categories. Interestingly enough, Friday was my 65th birthday. So what better day to put out Turn Back Your Biological Clock than the day before I turned 65? It's available still at my office for free. Anybody that wants to get it, all you have to do is email info@McCollumWellness/clock, and you'll get a copy of this book, a digital copy for free. When it comes out in paperback in about 8 weeks, we'll have it also at our office. But right now, please get it, because everything I've talked about is in this book. It's how to turn back your biological clock. And I hope you do it. Hey, Chris. And it'd be awesome for you to get the book. And let me just put this here. So to order the book, 2 ways to do it. Go to McCollumWellness.com/clock, or on your cell phone, the phone number is 474747. There's only 6 numbers, 474747. And then the text line, type clock, and you will get access to get the book that way. So either get it from McCollumWellness.com/clock or 474747 in the text line clock, and then you will get access to my book. And I hope you get it. It's a 65-year culmination of how I took my life from here to here. And if you heard my radio show on Saturday, you would have got it. And it's still available. If you have any interest, it's really why I do what I do. You go to KSCO Radio or KSCO.com, search McCollum Wellness, and it's last Saturday's show. And I've had a lot of comments about people thanking me for putting my heart out on the line and stuff like that. So my goal is to help you guys as much as I can. That's it.
Yeah, just so you guys know, that was a lot of data. So we're going to make sure it's on YouTube. You can just type in Dr. Duncan McCollum on YouTube, and we'll make sure to have it there so you guys can re-watch it.
What are we going to title this? Just 3-day fast?
Yeah.
We'll call it 3-day fast.
Sure.
All right, y'all. We'll see you Thursday. And be sure to tell your friends about what we're doing. And if you like what we're doing, go up on Yelp and leave us a review. I'd appreciate that, or Google. And if you're interested in the Academy, we'll talk about that more. Our goal is just to help as many people as we can. All right, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Belated
Bye.
birthday.
Feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.